The story of the film is it starts off really with the Sacre du Printemps, the Rite of Spring, presentation au Théâtre des Champs-Élysées in 1913. And that was the opening of the theater and a very big premiere where Igor Stravinsky composed. It was a presentation of this piece, and Nijinsky was a choreographer. And there was the Russian ballet, that was very big in France, the Russian ballet, and they made this big event. But you have to know that this time period, 1913, really the meeting in that moment of Igor Stravinsky and Nijinsky was like two punks by the time, like putting together and make this incredible creative and in advance pieces where the dancers are shaking the body, where it was like completely new and different, where the musical and dancing. So this opening was a big scandal. So that's where starts of the movie, because at this time period there was Coco Chanel was not very known. It was 1913, and she came at the premiere, and she saw this masterpiece, let's say, and so from that point in the story, then she just they don't meet the character really; they see each other. I mean, Coco to Igor, and she's fascinating. Then the film restarted in 1920, really, and now the film in 1920 is a meeting of Coco and Igor, and it's another time period because there was the war in between. Igor now is an apprentice, he's living in France, but in a small place with his family. And Coco proposed him to, because she knew that proposed him to stay with the family in her house. She had a house in Garches, Then he accepted. He's fascinated by her. And then starts another, a 6-week period where in the house, the two creators and starting to have a love affair. Mm-hmm. And the film, and there's a story until the end of this affair. There's a story is about that really, but behind this telling, you will have, the subject of the film, and the subject of the film is based about those. The mixing between fascination and creation, each one to the other one, and also a male-female relation in the 1920s, because among everything, Coco is somebody who was really a contemporary woman. If you look to her, she had a business, She was a mécène. A mécène in France. In French, is somebody who gives money. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like, for example, a film festival, like here, mm-hmm. He has mécène. A car company give money, and so she was doing that for artists. She was very very modern for the time. And on the males, on the part of Igor Stravinsky, which is more a Russian. And it's more, I think, a bit old-fashioned way of thinking with the relation male-female. Mm-hmm. So also you deal with that. You deal with two personality with big egos. You deal with shadows, because the shadows of second character. If it's a drama. Mm-hmm. In the fact that there is a wife in the house of Igor Stravinsky, and also the love of. Coco boy, Capel, is dead, so you have this shadow, that is in between those characters. So that's where starts the story. And this story, of course, is about those two big historical character artists, that really moved, their art in at the time period. But also, what's appealed to me, it was as well something that could be any human, So we're going into the personal and team. Universe of those characters. So in fact, this project was built up by William Friedkin. He wanted to do this movie, and I think, it took a lot of time. And Claudio Sarra and Chris Bolton, his producer, at one moment they difficulties to set up the project. So because of his agenda, Friedkin turned it down finally. And then Claudia came, and called me one day to know if I wanted to direct this film. And I just finished 99 Francs, and I was really up to relax and have a year of working. So I was, kind of. But when I received the script, I said it was a brilliant subject, and as a filmmaker, you can't miss it because there is not a lot of opportunities to make such a film. And for me, it was like going also, which is very interesting, 90 or 100% opposite kind of film that the previous one, which was a dark trash comedy. So this kind of budget is the one I like, actually, because it's not so big. I used to have much bigger, like 3 times this budget. But then you have a lot of, pressure, production pressure. And when you have a lot of smaller budget, you have a lot of pressure because you need more money to make something. So this budget is around 13 million euros. So it's big, it's a lot of money. But then what we have to create is complex. And it's a good range because still we can have, we had, 13 weeks of shoot and big setups. So we had enough material to have the good costumes, the good time with the actors to work on, the DP could have some gears, I have some times for the editing and the mix, so. It's very easy. Mads Mikkelsen was attached to the project. So at one time he was worried not to have time to prepare it and almost turned down the project. And for me, at the origin, I chose the project because of the script. Mainly because also of the musical universe of Stravinsky, of course about Coco, but Stravinsky was appealing more to me at one point because I think it was really brand new into cinema and he needed a film dedicated to his work and that the general audience knows him. And the other reason why I also was excited by the project was the attachment of Mads Mikkelsen to the. Yeah, it's always something. This is like, of course, Anna was kind of the icon character for Chanel, and she's representing Chanel. So for me, that was not an advantage, But when I cast her, I thought she was. She had this flavor I was looking, something sharp. She's fascinating and beautiful, but as well she has a voice and she's sharp. She's cold, and when we made the lecture with the actor. First I was actually, I tell you, first I was like thinking I should see her among other actresses, but then we choose her for those reasons because for me she had the flavor of Coco, and I understand why after Chanel I choose her. It was not easy shoot. And understanding, but it was a complex shoot anyway, and we had to go fast. But that was the main reason. My main reason is very instinctive. It's just you have a lecture and you feel and you say, okay, I see the character.